A great controversy has just arisen over a new category of bodybuilding that they have just created in a show in Brazil. They have named it men's wellness. For those who don't know, there are already those two categories. Men's physique, where men compete in swimsuits, emerged as a category intended to showcase not just a muscular body, yet a healthy, worked, and shredded body, like that of a muscular man or an athlete going to a beach. After that, it degenerated to the point that they are now open in swimsuits. Nowadays, it seems they are going to start judging the legs. They have set a weight limit, and they are going to return to be a little more like what they were before. Then we have the wellness category. I'm not very knowledgeable about the female categories, however, I think it emerged as a kind of split from the bikini category, which was already getting too big, and they needed their own category as they no longer fit. So they are women with quite marked proportions, very dominant lower bodies, and a smaller upper body, not so muscular. Within that, in general, they are very muscular. And now, in Brazil, they have just created men's wellness. The only competitor that I have seen has been Sam Morais, a transgender bodybuilder. As I understand it, he was a man who has made some kind of transition to a woman, or who considers himself a woman. The thing is, he has come out to compete, well, in a thong, as the wellness competitors would do, unlike the men's who go in swimsuits, but without a bra. This is what's shocking. After all, he doesn't have breasts, and despite having a body more similar to that of a man, he has started to do those female poses, like the ones wellness competitors do, which has displeased many since, objectively, this is a man, and he's doing the typical poses of the female wellness category. Personally, I don't like it. I don't like his physique. I don't like a guy who has such a small upper body, such a big lower body, and who poses in that way, effeminate, even sensual. I don't know what you guys will think, but let's move on to another point. He hasn't competed against women, and this is interesting because there are cases of trans people who compete in powerlifting or even not even trans. In Canada, if you consider yourself a woman, you are one. You don't need to undergo any hormonal therapy or present paperwork or anything. They have gone further in Canada. These trans athletes in powerlifting bother me a lot, as it's an unfair way in which a man, even if he has undergone hormonal therapy or whatever, competes against women and has a great physical advantage. But in this case, and this is a point in favor, at least he won't be competing against women, since he would have an advantage in the ease of gaining muscle mass in his structure. If this guy competed against women in wellness, he could even end up ahead of them. Or for a more visual example, imagine that now a man who feels like a woman competes in the Miss Olympia category. That is, the women's open, so to speak. Well, he would probably come first. Hey, imagine if he puts on breasts and a bra, which you basically need to be in wellness, and grows his hair a little longer, adapts to the standards, and beats them. So I believe that even a natural man, without taking substances, can be more muscular than a wellness competitor. And well, instead of that, they have decided to create a new category. So, now every time someone feels different or oppressed, are we going to create a new category? We already have the wheelchair. I'm just saying that they have created a category to satisfy a minority. And in this case, to satisfy this other minority trans, that in this competition, if I'm not mistaken, only one participated. We are in a time where people don't have to adapt to reality or the world, but it's the opposite, as if everything has to adapt to them. Well, now I also want them to create a category that is the opposite, that of women who feel like men, that is, a wellness men's, and that they compete in swimsuits with their breasts hanging out, and also a category of people who compete with shoulder pads because my shoulders are small, and I feel oppressed and my shoulders are not valued in that category. And I also want one that is judged only from the back. I also want them to create a category for children so that my nephews can compete, and one for grandmothers too, because my grandmother feels oppressed. And I also want a category of people missing an arm, a category only of bald people. I'm taking it a bit to the absurd, but it's because this is absurd. If you like classic bodybuilding, you have to present a physique that is like that of the classic, with an X shape, narrow waist. Even if you want to, there are people who genetically don't have the structure and won't be able to achieve it, and will have to switch categories instead of changing the world and making a category that is classic, but with a different structure to fit them. No, it doesn't work like that. There are people who want to be in men's and, well, they don't have that clavicular width, or they have a wide waist and they have to go to open, and that's how things are. There are too many categories. When you go to see the Olympia or the Arnold, you have to put up with the figure, the wellness, the fitness, the women's physique, etc. Then for men, there are also 4, and my question is this necessary? In bodybuilding before, there was an open category, that's it. Then they subdivided it into open and 212, then classic and men's, and with the female categories it got out of hand since now we have 6 female and 4 male categories. Now we're going to have a trans one. For now, this has only been done in Brazil. And it's possible that after taking this step, the other bodybuilding shows will follow this path. Let's hope not. Personally, I don't like the type of physique, nor the concept of this category, nor the poses it throws. If he wants to compete, he should adapt to one of the existing ones, as everyone else has to, and suck it up. And if his body is not what is required in those categories, then let him finish last. But hey, if he wants to compete, he can compete. No one is going to stop him. And I don't think it's bad. Each one in his own house or on his Instagram can do what he wants, but don't try to change the world for others. Bodybuilding has totally lost its seriousness. When you see bodybuilding on the internet, you see kids competing, people without arms, a fat guy who hasn't prepared, one who hasn't tanned, one who starts to do a sensual dance. Now we have this other category. We have, I don't know how many categories. It has totally lost the image that bodybuilding had, the seriousness, and now it's a show. You can discuss among yourselves in the comments and kill each other. I hope you liked it. I bid you farewell. See you in the next one.